Hey, welcome to Caption Guy, episode number 4 on our mission to win the New Yorker caption contest. I guess let's get right to it. I like to start out by listing the 5 rules I like to keep in the back of my head to make sure I write a caption that isn't only funny, but it needs to be New Yorkery. They're not looking for, like I like to say, they're not looking for knee slaps, they're looking for golf claps. So let's get to it. The 5 rules that I keep in my head. Number 1, caption needs to be dry. Number 2, needs to be brief. It needs to be clever, obviously. It needs to be poetic. To me, that means saying the most with the fewest words. Another way to say that would be pithy. In fact, I kind of like saying pithy, so maybe we'll consider changing poetic to pithy in the future. I don't know. And number 5 is, whatever you do, don't invite the gentries. That may not make sense, but if you happen to look at episode number 1 or episode number 3, I go into what it means to invite the gentries, and it's definitely something you don't want to do. Another thing I talked about in episode 1 is when I was trying to figure out how you wanted to place your caption. So if you look at humor as a line, and going in this direction it is dry, and in this direction would be things like puns and double entendres and silliness. I always figured you wanted to pick, or at least the New Yorker wants to see captions that land right around here. Very dry, almost to the point of being not funny at all. And I think this week's cartoon gives me an opportunity to show 2 captions. One of them is going to land over here. The others, I think, is going to land right there. And what's interesting about these is this caption, I think, would win more popular vote, but not the critical vote. It would kind of like being if Dumb and Dumber won an Academy Award. It's not going to happen. So let's get to it. Here is this week's cartoon. Let's put it up on the screen. What we have here is a wolf trying on costumes. Kind of fairy tale type costumes or fable type costumes. He's got a sheep costume on, and we have a haberdasher holding a pig. There's a bull, there's a goat, and it's hard to tell, but it looks like the haberdasher is talking. I'm not 100% sure. They really should make it easier to tell. Usually a rule of thumb is if there's an animal and a person in a cartoon, the person's going to be doing the talking. We're going to assume that the person's doing the talking. So when we break, I like to work a cartoon in 2 different ways. I have my intuitive part. This is where creativity lives, and the ideas just come. And over here is the systematic part. This is where you do some work and you break down the cartoon into pieces. You feed those pieces over to the intuitive part, and maybe you can come up with a caption. In this particular cartoon, it's one of the rare occasions where something comes to me right away. The wolf is wearing the sheep. The haberdasher looks pleased, and what he's saying to him is, "It's you." I think it works. It's kind of, well, it's not really that clever. It sure is brief. But one thing about that is it's definitely going to land over here on the pun side. I think it's a cute caption, but probably not one that's going to win any New Yorker contest. So that means we have to get to work with the systematic part. So we break it down into pieces. We have a wolf, sheep, wool, goat, bull. We have haberdasher, which I'm not going to write out the whole thing. I don't even know if I could if I tried. We have sales, dressing room, Things related to these would be like, things related to the Big Bad Wolf would be 3 Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, Grandma, clothes. So one thing about grandma and clothes that combined together is wrinkles. So one thing you could say is, he could be saying it's much less wrinkled than the grandma suit. Cute, but again, not going to win. So I do like the idea of the sheep. One thing about this sheep is that it's white. Wolves are usually bad, or, you know, they would be the black sheep. So one thing salespeople like to say is, we also have it in this size or this color. So the wolf is trying on a white sheep's outfit. The salesman is going to say, you also have it in black. That one, I think, kind of lands here. It's a little more dry, a lot more dry than the U one. It's really not going to make people chuckle out loud, but I think it's more New Yorkery. So that's what we're going to go with. We also have it in black. We'll see how we do. Speaking of which, let's see how we did on the cartoon with the general who was at a cocktail party with a receipt kind of pinned to his jacket. My caption was, I earned a coupon for $10 off my next war. And we'll see how we did. We did not win. Let's take a look at who did. The winning caption was, I was stationed at CBS during the war on drugs. Alright. Second place, it's the price of freedom. Kind of clever, not really funny. Third place, I got tired of explaining each one. Kind of cute. One thing I do notice is that I don't think the New Yorker judges got my memo about these 5 rules. So, you know, I would never criticize a caption because there's too many critics in the world and none of them contribute anything. I will question the judging a little bit. Some of them aren't so brief or pithy, but, you know, I can see why they won. So, we'll see how we do next time. And I still need to come up with a clever sign-off. Let's go with, until next time, when we caption America. That wasn't too bad.